Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So for those of you that enjoy the Google Ads content, as I said, it's still here. I'm still running the Google Ads agency. I just wanted to branch out a little bit and do some different content. But in this video, I'm going to take you through my exact framework. So this is the framework I run through when clients come to me, whether they have ads, don't have ads already running. This is the system. It works for 6, 7, 8, and to be honest, even 9-figure businesses. In terms of ones bigger than that, this framework will establish a base for them as well, and we'll probably get 80 to 90% of the sales there. There'll be just a few additional campaigns for those bigger brands. But in reality, this strategy, and that's why it's so powerful and why I've been able to build the business that I have, is because the strategy I've developed works for all of these brands with some very small tweaks and adaptations, but that's what's powerful about it. So this framework is going to give an e-commerce business a simple, proven way to scale profitably, predictably, without wasting money on lots of branded clicks, chasing inconsistent PMax return on ad spend and sales, or relying on any guesswork. So you're going to have the framework here. So what I find, guys, and the reason I've released this is I found a lot of the stuff I put out is a bit ad hoc and tiny parts, but this brings everything together. And this is the only video you will need to watch really on YouTube for Google Ads for e-commerce, because I've worked on so many different accounts and it works. A lot of the stuff I see on YouTube is very lead gen based. The people that are running e-com stuff, they're either very new to it, they haven't been through the ups and downs or seen different markets. And this strategy is very adaptable. And so if you follow the lead gen or some of these strategies that people say, they actually, most of them just overcomplicate it, and you'll spend a heap of time that you do not need to, and you'll do all these things that actually don't matter, when in reality, if you let the algorithm do its thing, it'll work and it'll work well. So just follow along with me. So what I find is most e-commerce brands come to me because they struggle to get Google Ads to work. They're probably killing it on Meta or TikTok or any other platform, but Google Ads, a lot of them just seem to struggle with. And the big reason is because it is so different to all those other channels. It works totally different. It really over-indexes at bottom of funnel, and to be honest, most of those other platforms are doing the same thing. Google was just a bit ahead in that. And they over-report sales within brand and a bunch of other things that really complicate and getting clarity onto how the ads are going. And the issue with that is that many people end up just focusing on brand remarketing bottom funnel, and they get overcomplicated agency setups in place that really are mislabeled. I see mislabeling a lot in campaigns, so it'll be labeled one thing and it's something totally different. But when done right, Google Ads can become a huge profit driver for your business. I've seen it time and time again, and I've done it with so many brands. And the really good thing about Google is it's very stable compared to the other channels. It's consistent. And once you get it up and running, it's very easy to manage. It's much easier than the other channels. And this short guide is going to take you through basically what I've learned over the last 8+ years, closing on a decade now, to help. I've literally helped hundreds, if not thousands. I actually haven't sat there and counted, but it's definitely in the hundreds, from supplements to homewares, fashion, technology, every different niche you could imagine, scale predictably, profitably with Google. So if your account isn't performing and you do want me to take a look at your ads, I will leave a link below, but let's get into it. One thing I wanted to show you was this actually works, and this is some real results. By the way, I'll leave the link to download this playbook if you're interested in the pinned comment below and in the description. So this client here has been with me for over 5 years. They're a premium bathroom brand. When they came to us, they had a big name agency, bloated structure in the campaigns. They had a junior media buyer. Clearly, I go into accounts, I can tell straight away the person's got no idea what they're doing. Overspending on brand, no brand campaigns, no non-brand campaigns, and little to no cold traffic. Big problem. Overcomplicated setups, while it sounds, it's not that bad, it really impacts return on ad spend. The more campaigns you have, I find, generally speaking, the lower the return on ad spend, but sometimes on a larger account, you do need more to force it to see to bring in some cold buyers. It was a really poor, but still overinflated return on ad spend with heaps of brand. So much spend was going to brand. From memory, it would have been in the 90% of spend was going to brand. So what did I do in this structure? Rebuilt the entire account structure, simplified it, segmented brand and non-brand campaigns. And by the way, I did this 5 years ago, and it's the same process now. Reduce budget in low margin areas for products not making much profit, double down on bestsellers, and then introduce new campaigns to capture cold traffic and get products seen that weren't being seen. I call them zombie SKUs. I also cut the waste. The result, and in the playbook, I will take you through this in greater detail. It went from 2.44 return on ad spend to 9.94 in 30 days. That was how quick it changed. Now, these guys are an amazing business. I'm not saying this was just me. It was just implementing the right setup allowed them to capture that, right? And we've managed to hit points where we had an over 18 times return on ad spend at scale. They're now spending close to $300,000 a month, and they've expanded to 2 new countries, and Google Ads has become their #1 revenue driver, which is amazing. So let's get into the framework. What is this strategy that I use to fix underperforming Google Ad accounts, or at least establish a profitable, scalable growth engine for those that are just starting out, or potentially they're doing really well on another channel? So as I said, it works for both new and established brands because we're laying the foundation, particularly phase 1. We've got account and tracking audit. So we need to make sure we lay the foundations there. We fix traffic, we separate brand and non-brand. So what are we going to do? Verify GA4 and the purchase tag are both tracking. We only want to use one of these, ideally the purchase tag, the Google one, because it's going to show more sales, but you only want the tag to be primary and GA4 secondary, or if you're already using one, you can keep that, but just make sure they're not both primary because it will double count conversions. Ensure that it's not double counting because it's going to be inflating your return on ad spend and sales, and some agencies like that and they leave that there. I don't like doing that, even if it means it's going to look worse on me in the first few stages. I prefer it to be fixed. You can use the tag assistant and do checkout tests as well. Separate brand and non-branded campaigns. This is a big discussion that I will not cover in great detail here, but in reality, you want to have at least your branded search, and you want to exclude brand from at least one PMax or shopping campaign. So use labels and scripts to detect when brand bleed is happening in Performance Max. Mike Rhodes has a terrific script for this. There's a few scripts out there that will do similar things, but Mike Rhodes is by far the best one. And then stop over-reliance on brand and bottom of funnel. And there are some scripts to do that as well, but really all you need to do is go into the Insights tab and just see, is brand the main conversion value or click driver? If it is, separate it out, at least in the new campaign, lower the spend on that one so that not too much spend goes to brand. So I'm going to throw in a bonus in here as well. So if you have a totally new sort of account, or you don't know which bidding strategy ever to choose, I've set in here a little link where I've got a cheat sheet on how to choose the right bidding strategy. So I hope that helps. Phase 2 is we're going to capture existing demand and build a strong base. So we're going to convert bottom of funnel and high intent traffic into buyers. How are we going to do that? Branded search, Performance Max, which is going to cover a lot of our remarketing, and bottom and middle of funnel sort of traffic. Standard shopping with no brand is going to get our top of funnel and middle of funnel as well. So probably the upper middle. And we're going to exclude all branded terms. It's going to be an ongoing thing, but you can do that. Now, if you're not sure which campaign to use and which to select at what point, I've also got a little decision matrix in here. If you want to use that, go for it. It's handy. I refer to it all the time. Ensure that you have conversion and other remarketing audiences set up in Google Ads and that they're auto-populating. So if you've got that and they're applied to your campaigns as well, PMax is going to be using them anyway if they're there, but it's nice to make sure they're applied to campaigns as well. And then focus your budget on bestsellers and high margin products. That's important. Keep structure minimal at this point. You don't want to have too many. Less is more with Google. It just leads to a better return on ad spend, as I already said. Now, phase 3, let's identify and build winning paths. So we're going to double down on what works and trim what doesn't. This is probably down the track a little bit. You're probably giving it a few weeks based on what we've already changed. Let's analyze the shopping and PMax reports to extract any high-performing search terms and then put them in their own campaign. In a search using exact, maybe phrase match as well. Prune any low-performing SKUs or keywords from campaigns or placements or anything you can kind of reduce the waste, do that. Introduce a zombie SKU campaign for any untapped products. So what you'll find with Google Shopping is, or PMax as well, is 80% of your clicks are going to a handful of your products, probably even less than 20%, it's probably like 5 or 10%. So we just want to force Google to see more products and get that data in there so they start to get shown more. Phase 4, we're going to scale the budget strategically. This phase, a lot of people struggle with mentally. They do not want to increase that budget. They see marketing as an expense, and because they see marketing as an expense, it leads to bad outcomes because in reality, the easiest thing for most campaigns to do to scale is to spend more. And I know as a marketing person, you're probably thinking, of course you want to spend more. It's easy. That's just logical. If you pour more fuel on this, it's going to do better. It's going to bring in more sales. As long as it's profitable, we're going to watch it. If profitability starts to fall, we can assess, we can trim some more fat. we can lower the spend. We can add target ROASs that are different, add them in if we don't have them, tighten them up, loosen them, whatever we need to do. Obviously, we want a ROAS that's stable. Refine first. So here is your decision path. If ROAS is unstable, obviously we're not going to scale. If CPCs are rising and volumes flat, again, not an environment to scale. We want to ensure PMax isn't spending too much on brand, for example. We need to get the ROAS fixed there on PMax. If it's including brand, we want to lift it. And then if we have any feed or asset quality issues, we're probably not going to be scale. Now, when do we want to scale? ROAS is consistent, day in, day out. We're getting consistent sales. Budget every day is fully spent or close to it. Look at it over the last 7 days. If on average it's fully spending, or if there's notifications in there, you can lift the budget, lift it. How are we going to do it? Very small lifts, okay? And then top products and campaigns, if they've got room to grow based on exactly what we said, keep lifting them 10 to 20%-ish, roughly. You can do more, you can do less, but just watch it. If you've got a target ROAS set there, doesn't matter too much, but again, a big lift in spend, like if you go 50%, your next few days are probably going to be a bit lower in return on ad spend, not always. If they're not, you're onto something good, and that this campaign's got a lot of room to grow. So we can then, we've said, gradually increase, lower the return on ad spend. So if you've got a return on ad spend set to 600 and your profitability is at 250, you can slowly start to lower that and spend more. That's how you force Google to spend more. We then expand into different products as well, if there's products not being seen, or product categories, and then we can use PMax insights to feed new search campaigns, as we said. We can at this point also start looking at adding to other areas of Google. The reason I have it here is it's such a small part of Google. Demand gen can do okay, YouTube can do okay as well, but this is the foundational scaling framework. You wouldn't even bother starting that until you've hit all of this, okay? And then once you do, particularly if you're focusing too much on brand, what's the point in then adding YouTube? On all those other channels, you can add in a very small display remarketing campaign. You can add in a demand gen campaign for some top of funnel if you've got good creative. Same with YouTube. You could start off with remarketing and then build out from there. And once you do that, we're getting to phase 5. Let's stay profitable and actually make sure things are incremental. So just because revenue's showing really good in Google Ads, you want to check in Shopify or your dashboard, GA4, and track new and returning customers as well to make sure you're getting new customers coming, and just to sanity check the numbers. For example, if you're only doing 200,000 a month in sales and Google Ads is saying you're doing 190 and you're spending heaps on other channels, it's probably your tracking's not right and you need to fix something. Upload cost of goods as well into your feed so you can work out the profit on ad spend and then focus on the most profitable things. Analyze by SKU and product category for better decisions. And then at this point in time, if you're wanting to be really profitable, you're probably not going to go into those other areas of Google Ads. You can. I just think for most e-commerce brands, I know there's lots of people out there that are going, demand gen's awesome, YouTube's awesome. They can be really good. I just find most e-com brands I've worked with in the 6, 7, 8 figure range often don't have good creative specifically for YouTube, often have mediocre creative for demand gen. The problem is too, is like, if I go and spend money on demand gen and I'm getting a low return on ad spend, or even if I'm getting a good one, if I could have just as easily spent that on PMax or shopping or search that really guarantee a result, why am I going to go and risk it? And you say for diversity and stuff like that, to diversify. And there is a point. And I'm not saying I don't use it. I'm trying to put something in front of you that I know is going to work, and that from there you can build on. So this is really a foundational scaling framework that I use. And this has led to a lot of client results. So some other ones have been like, I managed to get a supplement brand that was only spending 3K at 1.78 to 750K, and that was at about a ROAS of 3. So almost double the ROAS, and the sales went from 3K at spend, so it would have been 5K, 6K in sales, somewhere 5 and a bit, all about 750K. So big growth. And we also expanded into the USA as well, totally separate account. Electric bike brand based on the Gold Coast. Done 600K in spend with them to generate 12.7 million in sales at a 20.34 ROAS. There's some brand there for sure. And I'm not saying that that's all cold, but there's a good chunk of it that's cold. Health brand, post their meta ban. Month 1, we did 1.3K in spend and did 18K in sales. By month 6, we did 50K in spend, 202K 100K in sales. So yeah, return on ad spend dropped, but we did 202K in sales. Like, in their points, a 3x return on ad spend, we're at 4.8. We'll probably be able to get it to 300, I would say, based on these numbers. Just the two, by the way. Beauty lifted return on ad spend really within a month from 3 to 7.1, and then cold sales even at 3.25 return on ad spend. Fashion brand, these are actually just my more recent sort of stuff here. Actually, I can fill this out even more. There's a bunch of case studies in here that I can include as well. For those of you that are going, oh yeah, Nick's for it. This is the sort of stuff I've worked on, and I'm trying. I put nice ones there. There's been even lots of boring ones that aren't that exciting, but that have done really well as well. I'll keep building this out actually, just to. It's kind of hard. Sometimes I'm terrible at collecting case studies and stuff like that because I've never really needed to, but I'm excited to do this marketing approach to this business as well. And yeah, I enjoyed this video, guys. So I've got a quick wins checklist here that you can use. And like I said, if you need help with your ads, no pressure, book in a little quick call. You'll have to fill out a survey, see if we're a good fit. Then we're going to have a quick chat and see if I can help you. So thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.